Sup nerds, I'm Tom.
And I'm Aaron.
We're going to talk about the Traveler expansion for Altiplano. And if you were thinking, well, Altiplano already has a lot of options. Well, there's more now.
The Traveler expansion for Altiplano... I already said it wrong. The Traveler expansion for Altiplano adds just another layer of stuff to do, and it just fills up the table with even more. Like, this game is already massive. It takes up a lot of space, especially if you're playing with a lot of players. Like, 2 players, you still need all of this, and then your player boards. But then you have, like, goes up to 5 players. So, like,
Right.
You have that many people sitting at the table, and all their player boards. It's a lot. It's big. The expansion comes with event cards, which will do things each round. It comes with the actual traveler who travels around the board, and you can trade with him, which actually allows you to kind of trade with other players, because you trade to the traveler, and then other players can trade with the traveler to get the goods that you traded to him. And it also comes with 1 extra house card, an extra boat card, some mission cards.
Yeah, those things, those are like ancillary things, to be honest. Though, I mean, you mix them in, you'll notice them or not. It's not a super big deal.
Yeah.
For me, I actually think the events are probably my favorite part because they're all positive. They're all good things. Because this game can be slightly punishing if you don't plan well, or if you just... Because, how do you get extra fish? Well, you can buy a boat, or, there's maybe
one tile
will come up that'll help you get, So there are some avenues that are pretty hard to go down. Adding something that's more helpful for players and nicer is good. This is definitely a thing that I think that Altiplano needed.
It's definitely good, but you definitely, after playing it once, you want to hold on to 1 coin, because there's a lot of them. It's like, if you have 1 coin, you can spend it right now to get this good. And there's a couple times where it's like, oh, I spent all my coins last round. I can't buy that fish, or I can't buy the other thing. Usually it's no cost, like, it'll give it to you. But there's a couple times where I'm like, I just spent my coin. Trading with the traveler is another way that you can actually help with that. Like, okay, I can't get fish or the game. How can I get it? Well, if you're playing with somebody who started with that player ability that lets them get fish, he can trade them to the traveler. You can kind of like make a agreement, like, hey, you should trade this to the traveler, and then I'll trade something to the traveler that you need, and like you can kind of use it as a way to trade. Doesn't really happen that often, but you can do it that way. But yeah, the events, I really like them. Like, having something at the start of every round that just, like, if you're playing with the traveler, it shows you what he's bringing to the market, because he's constantly
which is additionally beneficial.
Yeah, he'll grab something like a stone or a rock, and he'll put it into his trading spot, which any of us can, just spend a good from this little. Oh yeah, we get these little traveler space boards that you attach to your board, because when you're programming what you're going to do for your turn, you have to program that you're going to trade with the traveler.
Right, and that also takes up even more space. Now your player board's bigger, and you can get these asset cards that are like, special abilities, and those, and you can get these asset cards that are like special abilities. So along with your boats and your houses and everything, you have all these extra cards over here. It's just massive.
That was my favorite thing of trading with him, is you can actually, like, when you put a good onto the traveler board in the center, you can never actually go to that board, but if you are at a space with the traveler, that essentially is like his backpack, I guess. Like, whatever I trade to him, it goes into a zone that matches you, so that you can't get it. But that's essentially all the things he's carrying. So I can trade, one of my goods to him, and then take, these upgrades that give you all sorts of cool abilities. That, being able to store food, that one is like...
Being able to pay food to get points. Or, back to the supply. So we're getting rid of food a lot more. With the traveler, pay any 1 good to your container to gain 1 point.
Yeah, so they actually came up with these point tokens now that you can use that, trade this to get victory points mid-game, and you actually get a point token.
Yeah, you can pay an alpaca, pay a coin to get points. It adds to the point-sality-ness of the game, because some of them are things like that, some are more special. Well, those are all like abilities, so to speak. Some of them have to do with the traveler, and some of them don't. And now, as I'm saying this, I know that... So it's those 2 things, the events and the traveler. I think you can play the events without the traveler. I don't really think you can play the traveler without the events, because the events are what add these resources over to the traveler, because I was kind of worried that, well, if we create this, closed,
Secondary market.
yeah,
Reward
this
trading.
closed economy type of thing, yeah, where like I'm gonna put my, instead of we're just depleting these stacks, I'm putting my resource in the middle, and you want that resource, well, you don't have to take from the stack, which would end the game. You can pull from here. So we would never end the game early, and we'd always have, I mean, we still have the clock, but like we would like always go to that, and it would cause this big thing. But no, the event cards pulling more resources off here can kind of make the game go even faster.
I'm not sure. We never got to the bottom of the event deck, but there's a lot of cards there, so that's a lot of goods that he can be pulling if, every round he's pulling one. Also, we found out that the alpaca is actually a girl, and it gave birth to a miniature alpaca. So if you didn't like the giant first player token, you can use this little tiny one now.
I wish that there was some, like, you could maybe make a little notch in here so
Carry
this
him
alpaca could be on top of him, so it's like he's carrying him.
Like, oh, cute little baby.
Yeah, well, that kind of works. We use the word essential a lot when we talk about some expansions that we really, really like. And with this, I'm not 100% certain essential is the right word. I think it's more
good.
for, yeah, it's really good, but I think it's more for the people who really, really like Altiplano. Like if you're like, it's an okay game, I'll play it every once in a while, then yeah, this should deepen your love of Altiplano. This isn't like an expansion that fixes anything. It doesn't remove stuff. It doesn't change the way it only adds and makes you more powerful. Makes it, I guess, okay, the event's a little bit easier if you find yourself getting stuck a lot. But, other than that, it's really for like fans of Altiplano. If you really loved Altiplano, you're like, man, I want this game to be even bigger, then that's the target audience, right? For this.
Absolutely. I would 100% agree with that. This is definitely for people who already like Altiplano and wish there was just a little bit more. It like you said, it doesn't remove anything. It doesn't make the game any shorter. Really, like it balances itself out with like, okay, we're giving you these event cards which make you more powerful, but also like, it is helping tick down the time, but like there's nothing on that board that, like, I guess you could deplete all of these cards, which I guess would trigger endgame, but now there's still tokens on there, so that board isn't going to help trigger endgame by depleting it completely. It just adds more. It's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't want you to think that when I say that I'm downplaying this expansion. I really love Altiplano, so that's why I really love this expansion. But I'm just saying that for the casual Altiplano player, this might almost be a little bit too much, right?
Yeah, because you're adding another currency with the trading. Because I can take one token and trade it to him and get this gem, whatever it's called, an opal, and then I can use that later to buy things that other people have sold to him for abilities. So like that's where it's like, okay, this is just this extra thing. We're like, okay, I'm gonna store up a bunch of these opals and then buy things that other people have been, as long as other people are using it, then that's useful. But if you're just storing these up and nobody else uses the traveler,
yeah, they're half a point each, so they kind of suck. But what you just said, that is how I got a couple extra points right at the end. I dumped like a bunch of them and just picked up just a couple of stones just to pick them up.
Yeah.
Just grab while they're there.
Yeah, I spent stones to, get these abilities, and you're able to, just discard your token to get these opals and then use those opals to grab more victory points. So like it helps everyone, but it is an extra layer if, you've already mastered the base game. Like this is a shoe-in for the next step, but it's not something that you need to introduce to people at the first time they play it, because it's already an overwhelming game just looking at it. It's not super complex, in general, but like it has so much to it.
Initial scare factor. Yeah. It makes a bad first impression. You go, oh, jeez. Oh man, look at all that stuff. Look at this. Here's your player board. Oh my god, what is this stuff? Well, if you're a fan of Altiplano and any of what we were talking about sounds interesting to you, I'm gonna have a purchase link in this description box down below so you can get yourself a copy. We highly recommend that you do so.
While you're down there, don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you'll never be bored.
Boom.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.